My girlfriend said, "You'll never do better than me." I replied, "Already have." Then I introduced her to my upgrade, blocked her everywhere, moved on, and I smiled when she tried to apologize at my wedding. Hey Reddit, you're honestly pathetic if you think you'll ever find someone better than me. The words hung in the air between us like poison. My girlfriend of 3 years, standing in our apartment living room, arms crossed, smirking at me like she'd just won some kind of twisted game. I was 30 years old. She was 28. We'd been living together for 18 months, and I'd been planning to propose within the next 6 weeks. The ring was already purchased, hidden in my gym bag where she'd never think to look. "What did you just say?" I asked, setting down my phone slowly. "You heard me." She flipped her hair over her shoulder, that condescending gesture I'd somehow trained myself to find endearing over the years. "You've been moping around here for weeks like some kicked puppy, and I'm just telling you the truth. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best." She actually quoted that meme. Unironically, "I wasn't moping," I said evenly. "I was exhausted. I've been working 12-hour days on the Henderson account because you wanted to go to Bali for your birthday, remember? That trip costs money." "Oh, here we go again." She rolled her eyes dramatically. "Always about money with you. You know what your problem is? You have no ambition, no vision. You're content being mediocre." I felt something crack inside my chest. Not break, crack. Like ice beginning to splinter before it shatters completely. "I'm a senior analyst at one of the top consulting firms in the city," I said quietly. "I make a good living. We have a nice apartment. We go on vacations. What exactly about my life is mediocre?" "Everything." She laughed, and it was the cruelest sound I'd ever heard come from someone who claimed to love me. "Your job is boring. Your friends are boring. You're boring. I mean, when was the last time you did something spontaneous? Something exciting? You won't even go to clubs with me anymore. Because last time I went, you disappeared for 2 hours and came back smelling like cologne that wasn't mine." Her face flushed. "I was networking." "God, you're so insecure." "Networking," I repeated. "Right. See, this is exactly what I mean." She moved closer, and I could smell her perfume, the expensive one I'd bought her for Christmas. "You're jealous, controlling, and frankly, kind of boring in bed lately too." That one landed. I saw the satisfaction in her eyes when I flinched. "If you're so unhappy," I said slowly, "why are you still here?" She smiled then, and it was the smile of someone who thought they held all the cards. "Because despite everything, I'm good to you. I could have anyone I want. You know that, right? I'm out of your league. But I stay because I see potential in you. I'm trying to make you better. By telling me I'm pathetic and boring and bad in bed. I'm being honest. That's what people in mature relationships do." She moved to the kitchen, opened the fridge, and pulled out the expensive wine I'd been saving. "You should be grateful I care enough to tell you the truth." I watched her pour herself a generous glass. Watched her take a sip and check her phone, already dismissing me from her attention. That's when I made my decision. "You're right," I said. She looked up, surprised. "What?" "You're right about everything. I am boring. I am mediocre. And I definitely don't deserve you." Her smile returned, victorious. "I'm glad you're finally. So I think we should break up." The smile froze on her face. "Excuse me. We should break up. Actually, we are broken up. This relationship is over." She laughed, but it sounded uncertain now. "You're being dramatic. Look, I'm sorry if I was harsh, but you weren't harsh. You were honest, remember? And you're right. You could do better than me. So go ahead and do it. Stop being childish." She set down her wine glass. "You're upset, I get it. Let's talk about this tomorrow when you've calmed down." "I'm completely calm," I said, and I was. The crack in my chest had finished its work. Whatever had been holding me to her was gone, clean as a surgical cut. "I want you to leave." "Leave?" She looked around the apartment like she'd never seen it before. "This is my home. It's my apartment. Your name isn't on the lease, remember? You never wanted to commit to that. You can't just kick me out. That's illegal. I'm not kicking you out. I'm ending our relationship and asking you to stay somewhere else tonight while we figure out the logistics. You can go to your sister's place. Or maybe stay with one of those exciting people you've been networking with." Her face went red. "You're really doing this? Over one fight?" "This isn't one fight. This is the culmination of 100 small fights. 1,000 little comments. You've spent the last year making me feel small. I just didn't realize it until you said it out loud. I was trying to motivate you. By telling me I'll never do better than you? That's not motivation. That's control." She stared at me for a long moment, and I could see her brain working, recalculating. She stepped closer, her voice softening. "Baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I was just frustrated. You know I love you. Do you?" "Of course I do." She reached for my hand. "We've been together for 3 years. We're good together. I was just having a bad day." I pulled my hand back. "Pack a bag. Please. You're making a huge mistake," she said, and the softness was gone from her voice. "You know that, right? You think you're going to find someone better? Someone who looks like me? Someone who put up with your shit for 3 years? Maybe. Maybe not. But I'll be happy finding out. You'll come crawling back." She grabbed her purse from the counter. "You'll realize how good you had it, and you'll come back. And you know what? I might not be there. I'm counting on it." She slammed the door on her way out. I stood in the silent apartment for a long moment, then walked to my bedroom, pulled out the ring box from my gym bag, and looked at it. 3 months of salary. For someone who thought I was boring and mediocre and not good enough. I laughed. It started as a chuckle and built into full-body laughter that might have been slightly unhinged. When I finally stopped, I felt lighter than I had in months. I called my best friend, Chris. "Hey man, what's up? I need a place to crash for a few weeks while I sort some things out. Also, I need to return a very expensive ring. Also, I'm single." There was a pause. "Did you finally do it?" "Finally. Dude, we've been waiting for you to dump her for like a year. The group chat is going to explode when I tell them." "There's a group chat about my relationship?" "There's a group chat about your relationship. We called it Operation Rescue Idiot." Despite everything, I smiled. "I'm the idiot. You were." Past tense. Welcome back to the land of the living. The next few weeks were a blur. She texted constantly at first, angry messages, then sad ones, then angry again. She tried calling from different numbers when I blocked her. She showed up at my office twice before security escorted her out. "You're going to regret this. We were meant to be together. I made you who you are. You'll never find someone who understands you like I do." I didn't respond to any of it. Chris helped me box up her stuff, and we delivered it to her sister's place when she wasn't home. I changed my locks. I blocked her on every platform I could think of. My friends rallied around me in a way I hadn't expected. Apparently, they'd all been biting their tongues for months, watching me shrink myself to fit into her vision of who I should be. "You stopped coming to poker nights," Chris said one evening. She said they were juvenile. "You quit the kickball league." She said it was embarrassing for a grown man to play kickball. "You sold your motorcycle." She said it was dangerous and immature. We sat with that for a moment. "You're buying another motorcycle, right?" Chris asked. "Already ordered one." 3 months later, I was doing better than fine. I was thriving. The Henderson account closed successfully. I got promoted. I joined a new gym. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in over a year. And then I met Melissa. She was a graphic designer who worked in the building next to mine. We literally bumped into each other at the coffee shop between our offices. I was distracted by my phone. She was balancing 3 cups of coffee, and the collision resulted in both of us wearing cappuccino. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," we said in unison. Then we looked at each other and laughed. She had kind eyes. That was the first thing I noticed. Brown eyes that crinkled when she smiled, and she smiled like it was her default setting. "I owe you a coffee," I said. "You owe me 3 coffees. These were for my team. Then I owe your team 3 coffees. How about I make it right over lunch?" She tilted her head, considering. "You're either very smooth or genuinely apologetic." Genuinely apologetic with a hint of opportunistic interest? Honest. I like it. Okay, lunch. But you're buying coffee for my team first. I bought coffee for her entire 12-person team. It cost me $60, and it was worth every penny. Melissa was different from the beginning. She laughed at my jokes, the dorky ones, not just the clever ones. She asked about my work and actually listened to the answers. She had her own life, her own friends, her own interests, and she didn't expect me to abandon mine to revolve around hers. She thought my motorcycle was cool. She came to watch my kickball games. She organized a poker night for our combined friend groups. This is nice, she said one evening, about 2 months into dating. We were cooking dinner together in my apartment, something I'd done with my ex maybe 3 times in 3 years. What is this? Us. It's easy. Is that weird to say? It's not weird at all. I was in this relationship before, she said, chopping vegetables with more aggression than necessary, where everything was hard. Every conversation was a negotiation. Every day felt like I had to prove I was worth being with. And I thought that was normal. I thought that meant it was real, you know? That if it wasn't hard, it wasn't meaningful. I know exactly what you mean. She looked up at me. Your ex? Yeah. She had a way of making me feel like I was always falling short. Like I was lucky she tolerated me. That's messed up. It took me a long time to see it. But you did see it. Eventually, she set down the knife and came around the counter, wrapping her arms around my waist. Her loss is my gain. I kissed the top of her head. I think I'm the one who gained. 6 months into our relationship, we ran into my ex. We were at an upscale restaurant downtown, celebrating Melissa's promotion to creative director. I'd made reservations weeks in advance, bought a new suit, the whole thing. We were laughing about something. I can't even remember what, when I heard that familiar voice. Well, look who it is. I turned, and there she was. She looked good. She always looked good. That had never been the problem. She was with a guy I didn't recognize, tall, gym perfect, wearing a designer watch I could see from across the room. Hey, I said evenly. Her eyes slid to Melissa, and something flickered across her face. Aren't you going to introduce me? This is Melissa. Melissa, this is my ex. Oh, Melissa's smile didn't waver, but her hand found mine under the table. Nice to meet you. Interesting. My ex looked Melissa up and down with poorly concealed judgment. This is what you upgraded to. I felt Melissa stiffen beside me, but before I could respond, she squeezed my hand and spoke up. Upgraded is a strong word, Melissa said cheerfully. I prefer to think of it as he finally found someone who actually likes him. My ex's face went red. Excuse me. You're excused. Melissa's smile could have cut glass. Enjoy your dinner. You don't even know. I know enough. Melissa interrupted, still smiling. I know you told him he'd never do better. I know you made him feel small. And I know I'm going to spend the rest of this lovely dinner not thinking about you at all. Have a good night. She turned back to me, effectively dismissing my ex from existence. Now, where were we? You were telling me about Chris's disaster date. I heard my ex sputter something, heard her date asking if she was okay, heard their footsteps retreating. But I was focused on Melissa, who was looking at me with concern. Are you okay? She asked quietly. I'm perfect, I said and meant it. That was incredible. I hope I didn't overstep. The way she looked at you made me want to punch her. Please don't punch anyone. But the verbal takedown was perfect. She seems terrible. She was. I just couldn't see it. Well, Melissa raised her wine glass. Here's to better taste in partners. I clinked my glass against hers. And to women who defend their men. Always, she said. 6 months after that, I proposed. Not with the ring I'd bought for my ex. I'd returned that the day after we broke up. This was a different ring, designed specifically for Melissa, with her birthstone surrounded by small diamonds. I proposed at the coffee shop where we met, bribing the barista to recreate our collision, but this time with empty cups. When she turned around, confused and laughing, I was on one knee. Melissa, meeting you was the best accident of my life. Will you marry me? She said yes before I finished the question. The wedding was 10 months later. We kept it relatively small, close friends and family only. It was at a vineyard about an hour outside the city, in October when the leaves were changing. Everything was perfect. The weather cooperated. The ceremony went off without a hitch. My vows made Melissa cry. Her vows made me cry. Chris's best man speech was the perfect balance of embarrassing and heartfelt. We were at the reception, about an hour in, when one of the venue staff approached me. "Sir, there's a woman at the gate. She's not on the guest list, but she says she knows you. She's quite insistent." My stomach dropped. "What does she look like?" The description confirmed my suspicion. "Tell her she's not welcome and to leave. If she refuses, call the police." "Of course, sir." I watched him walk away, then felt a hand on my arm. "Melissa, it's her, isn't it?" "Yeah. Do you want to talk to her? Get closure or whatever?" I looked at my wife, beautiful in her wedding dress, patient and understanding even now. "I have all the closure I need," I said. "I have you." "Damn right you do." She kissed me. "But if she crashes this wedding, I'm throwing hands. Just so you know." Noted. My ex didn't crash the wedding. But later, Chris told me she'd been at the gate for almost 30 minutes, crying, asking to talk to me, saying she'd made a mistake, that she was sorry, that she wanted to apologize. The police were eventually called. She left quietly. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No regret. No anger. Just nothing. She was a chapter I'd closed, a mistake I'd learned from, a person I used to know. That night, after the reception ended and Melissa and I were alone in the honeymoon suite, she asked, "Do you ever wonder what she wanted to say?" Not even a little bit. Not even curious? Why would I be? I know what she would have said. She'd say she was sorry. She'd say she didn't mean it. She'd say she made a mistake. And you know what? Maybe she did mean all of that. Maybe she really is sorry. But it doesn't change anything. She showed me how she really felt. She told me I'd never do better. She made me feel worthless. And even if she's genuinely remorseful now, even if she's changed, I don't care. I moved on. I found someone who makes me feel valued every single day. Why would I look back? Melissa was quiet for a moment. You know what she said at the gate? Chris told me. She said she made you who you are today. I laughed. She did, in a way. She made me realize what I wouldn't tolerate. She made me understand my worth. She made me appreciate what a real partner looks like. So yeah, she contributed to who I am today, but not in the way she thinks. "I love you," Melissa said. "I love you too. Also, I'm really glad you didn't let her in, because I was serious about throwing hands. I know. That's one of the many things I love about you." We left for our honeymoon the next morning. 2 weeks in Japan, something Melissa had always wanted to do and something my ex would have complained about the entire time. I got a few more messages from my ex over the next few months, all from new numbers. They went from apologetic to angry to desperate. I didn't respond to any of them. Eventually, they stopped. About a year after the wedding, I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd gotten engaged to the guy she'd been with at the restaurant. I felt happy for her, genuinely. Everyone deserves to find their person, even if it takes some mistakes to get there. I was her mistake. She was mine. And that was fine. Because sitting here now, watching Melissa paint in our home studio, we'd bought a house 6 months ago, I couldn't imagine my life going any other way. Every bad relationship, every moment of doubt, every time I felt small, it all led me to this moment. She looked up and caught me watching her. "What are you thinking about?" "Just how lucky I am." "Sap," she said, but she was smiling. True though. Also true. My phone buzzed. "Chris, guess who just got engaged?" "Who?" "Your ex saw it on social media. Thought you might want to know." "Good for her." "That's it. Good for her. What else would I say?" "I don't know." I expected more drama. "Chris, I'm married to the love of my life. I own a house. I have a job I'm good at. My friends don't have a secret chat about rescuing me. I bought a new motorcycle. I'm happy. What do I care what my ex does?" Fair point. You really are over her. Have been for 3 years. But yeah, we hung up, and I thought about that for a moment. 3 years since I'd ended things. 3 years since she'd told me I'd never do better. 3 years since I'd made the best decision of my life. I already had done better. I'd done so much better that the comparison was almost laughable. And the best part? I didn't need her to know it. I didn't need her approval or her regret or her acknowledgement. I didn't need to rub it in her face or prove anything to her. I just needed to be happy. And I was. Hey, Melissa called from across the room. Come here. I want to show you something. I walked over to her easel. She'd been working on a painting for weeks, refusing to let me see it until it was done. It was us, at the coffee shop. The moment we met, recreated in vibrant colors and bold strokes. She'd captured the laughter, the surprise, the coffee flying through the air, the exact moment our eyes met. It's perfect, I said. It's us, she replied. The best accident ever. I kissed her, tasting paint and love and a future that stretched out before us, bright and unwritten. My ex had been right about one thing, I realized. I'd never do better than her, because I'd already done it, and I'd never looked back.